All right, you guys, let's talk about launching your business using the High Achievers Playbook, because you want to have a great first story when you launch. You just do. You want to be able to have a fantastic first 30 days, 60 days, and 90 days in this business, because that story is what's going to change your life and so many other people's lives. So even if you're starting today, maybe you've already been in this business, but you know you want a better story, then I'm going to suggest you do the exact same thing when getting launched or launching someone else. So this is for two parts. Either you're going to launch someone else or you're launching yourself using this tool that is really going to help you explode into the next level. Why do I love this book? I love the High Achievers Playbook because it's something that you have. This is your own. Nobody owns it. There is no technology platform that has all the names of the people that you're going to put together here to be able to launch and impact not only for the first 30 days, but for years to come. So I want you to first grab your list. Everyone says that when you first get started, have a why. What is your first income goal when you're getting launched? Do you have an income goal? Do you have a physical goal? Are you in a service company and you know that you want to help lots of people in that service? So make sure you know that first goal, and you can write that down in the beginning of your High Achievers Playbook, kind of that mission statement of what it is that you want to achieve in the first 90 days in your business. And then I want you to take your master prospect list. Why? Because this is where you keep everything. I know you have a receipt out there with somebody's contact information or a business card that you chucked in a drawer, and this is where you're going to keep everything in one place. Even though you have a Facebook friends list, an Instagram list, like, you're going to have to put the highest contacts you would want right here in this master prospect list. So it gives you a place to put their name and their contact information. When you're first getting started, you want to at least at a minimum have 100 people that you're going to start reaching out to and contacting. You also want to have a launch date. So do you already have that set? Because if you don't, you need to mark that down in the next 48 hours. You need a date of when you're going to go live or you're going to start talking about your business so that you can get that started and link up with your upline or your support team. Or if you are the upline or support team, you're going to turn around and make sure your person who has this new tool is going to have their own first launch date set. And that way they can create their first story, their first week in the business of what they want to do. And then after that, they're going to have a second launch date. And that is how this, the planner, here's what I love about the calendar in the High Achievers. It's a 12-month calendar, but we're gonna focus today on the 90 days because you're gonna do a 90-day run when you first get started in your story. So the first thing you wanna do if you're just getting new in this business is you wanna make sure that you write down your key priorities and your team. What's going on in your team? Like, you just got in, now what do? You want to write down, is there a team call that your upline or support team has already suggested? Write that down. Make sure that you write down where that is. Then you want to write down the next event that your company has going on so that you can make sure to attend it. You're a high achiever, or you're wanting to be one, which means you need to show up to whatever it is that's told to you by your company if you want to have success. Every six-figure earner or higher, they have those calendars on as if it's part of their job. A lot of you may be able to just do this 5 hours a week. And if that's you, that's great too, but you have to have those key things written down, have your upline support team, your events written down, and your first goal. So I would suggest in here, what I did is I started with a day 1. And then on day 30, how much did I want to make in those first 30 days? So how much do you want to make in the next 30 days? Write that down. Write down your physical goal, because we know, part of the High Achievers Playbook is there's a place for you to mark down how much water you drink. Did you get movement in that day? I don't know if you want to, if you have a great physical goal and that's something you want to do, make sure you write that down so you stay on track with your goals every single day. So we want to get started by making sure we fill out our calendar at least the first 90 days so that you can get launched correctly, okay? So with your first goal, we've set that down, your income goal, which means you're going to have a first event, Facebook Live or you're going to do a home event, or you're going to do a conference call. Pick one of those three. So Facebook Live, a conference call, or a live event in a home, and you are going to invite as many people from your master prospect list. Where do you get these names? Where do you get them? From your phone? Everyone has at a minimum 200 names in their cell phone. So you need to write down those names. And if you don't like the person, I suggest you delete them, because if they're not going to help you on your path, then you don't necessarily need them. You want to have people in this playbook that they are who you want to, people that you love, people that you admire, people that you know are people that would want to help you either try out your product when you first get started, or people that might want to make an extra income. Write all of those down and don't prejudge, because the person that you know, that you always think of, that likes, that already has success, you never know when the time is for them, that they might want to do something around their life that's different than what they're already doing. So to have a really great first launch, you guys, you got to get started. You have to have one launch in the first 48 hours, another one within the next 72 hours, and then focus on that first month goal so that you can have a great story. So every time someone asks you what happened in your first 30 days, that you have an answer for them. And if you've already launched once before and you know this is now your season, this is speaking to you, then you need to start again. Grab your playbook, write on your calendar your launch date in the next 48 hours. Even if you don't have time to contact 100, just get started contacting 5 or 10 and invite them to take a look at your opportunity, and then start making those calls and getting those messages out there to get a decision from people you know that would want to get started with you. All right, now that we've talked launching, let's talk about how to get to a 6-figure annual income doing a 90-day run every single year. So I want to tell you guys what I did when I first decided that I wanted to make multiple six-figure income in this industry. I dedicated 90 days. Like, I circled 90 days on my calendar that I was willing to give up everything that wasn't out of my key priorities. And I had the buy-in of my family to do so, but I didn't watch TV. I didn't go to Taco Tuesday. I didn't go out with girlfriends or things like that. I really dedicated massive time to this project. This is a project, and it means you're going to get to, from where you are right now, maybe you're in debt, maybe you're, overweight, maybe which is where I was. I was 80 pounds overweight. I wanted to have financial freedom. And when I figured out that this 90 days, I couldn't do this activity for 30, 65. I'm a mom of 2, but I could do it for a concentrated 90 days, and it completely changed my life, you guys. It was unbalanced though. So I'm not going to promise you're going to have this easy peasy life. You're going to be doing all out massive activity. But at the end of those 90 days, the reward is so great that if you do this every single calendar year in a 90-day crunch time, you will be able to have what it is that you've always wanted. You see, if you just prospect people one at a time every day, it takes longer. But if you compress time frames, is kind of what I learned. If you can compress 750 contacts into 60 or 90 days, that's where the magic happens. So I had to decide that I was willing to give up TV. I was willing to give up, friend time, and with that was a ton of activity. So what I did on a daily basis was I contacted people and invited them to take a look at what it was that I was doing. And I did that over, every single day for hours, probably 14, 16 hours a day, because I wanted to go full time. I wanted to make 7 figures. So I knew that I would have to do that, 5 days a week, that I would, every free moment I could, I contacted as many people as I could, and I was not attached to the outcome, because I just knew that it was their loss if they didn't take advantage of what it was that I was offering. So I suggest you have that posture going to this 90 days, that whatever it is, the project you're working on with your product or service, that you believe wholeheartedly that every single person you talk to needs to hear about it or they're missing out. And you're going to do that over and over and over for the, hours after hours. Now, if you're part-time and you only have a couple hours a day, give it all you got. Can you give it everything you have? Sacrifice for 90 days, because I tell you, if you do this, you are going to see in 90 days an entirely different business. Because what happens when you bring in people all at once, not just one a month, but you bring in 5 people in a week, 5 people, you're going to see that those people are a new class. They link together. You can then teach them in group what it is that you're wanting to teach people. For this, 90 days, they start getting started like we did in the launch plan. That's what you're going to do with them. They're going to do your launch plan that you just did. And now they're going to do that for, and as they do it, then they're going to launch their people. And they're going to launch their people, and it just expands over time. So I went from, 3 people on my team to almost 3,000 people in a matter of 10 weeks, really, because we never let our foot off the gas for a significant period of time, for, being able to know that if every single day you're pushing people to a phone call, if you're pushing people to a video, if you're pushing people to a home meeting, whatever it is that you and your company use to invite people to get to, that's what you're going to be doing over and over and over. And then you're going to be following up. So I would suggest the first, part of the run is you're massively inviting to take a look. And then after you have those people, you're going to be doing following up and seeing where they're at. That's like the second week of the plan. And then the third week, you're going to be closing people, making sure they have the questions answered, they have the information that they need to make a good decision. You want to work with people that align with you anyway, right? And then at the end of that month, you're going to truly make sure it's a good fit. And then you're going to turn around and you're going to launch those people as a class of people together. And when you do that, you compress timeframes and you make it urgent. People want to join because they feel like they're going to miss out. On a practical level, what I did and with our team of people is we had a conference call at 10 a.m., at noon, and then again at 6 p.m. because we didn't want to be in home meetings every night. That was the first part of the business that I knew I just didn't want to do that. And now with social media or with conference lines and webinars, you can truly reach as many people by Facebook Messenger and invite them. That's what made it better for us. So I would talk to all my friends and say, what are you doing tonight at 6 p.m.? And then at that 6 p.m. call, invite as many people as I could to that 6 p.m. call. It was live. So they were going to miss it if they didn't get on that first call that we did. And then from that 6 p.m. call, we would tell the story of our company. And at the end of that call, we would do a call to action, which was to get on the call the next morning at 10 a.m. If you're going to miss out on, this information at 6, you're going to be the second group of people to hear about it tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. And then at that 10 a.m., you're going to be the third group of people to hear about it at the next call, which is going to be at noon. So whichever one they were missing, they knew that I was going to get 10 more people. Go get 5 of your friends to confirm what I hear, to decide if it's a good decision for you. And then you're going to get those people to the next conference call. Now today we've evolved to Facebook Live events. You can schedule a Facebook Live event and invite people to this live event where that information hangs there in that event page, that they can only get that information for, you're going to decide the time frame that they have to get that information. And maybe your event runs 7 days. You start it on a Monday, you do the event live, and you're inviting people to that. Personal invitations, you guys. Don't just put them in the event. People they like to feel personally invited. Wouldn't you rather go to a barbecue you were personally invited to than someone just put you in a group message and maybe hopefully you showed up? Yes, we all would. I'd rather go to one that someone said, hey, I want you to come to my barbecue. It's going to be great. No difference than in a Facebook event. You want to be able to have people in that event page. They just want to get more information at that time. So you're going to load up a Facebook Live event. They get to see your eyes. You're going to talk about your product or service in that event page, and then you're going to keep putting them there. You're going to tag them, your newest invite, in that pin post. Maybe even in your company, you're going to have people, sharing testimonies in that event page. You're going to be putting information in that event page so people can make an informed decision by that Friday when you go to close them. So then you're going to do a call to action, which is, listen, this group of launch is going to end on Friday at midnight. I don't know if you've made your decision yet, but what questions do you still have so that we can get you making a decision by Friday? You guys, there is no reason to be nervous if your heart is on service. I know that sounds cheesy, but you don't need to be nervous if your heart's on service, because you're serving people. You're actually doing them an injustice by not helping them make a decision because they're in limbo. So get them into your event page or to your conference call is what we did. And I still continue to do Facebook Lives every 90 days. We do a new run. So the daily habits of someone who wants to make 6 figures, an annual income, you're going to have to track your success. One of the things I did wrong at the beginning was I thought if I winged it, that I would be able to still keep a 6-figure income without actually tracking my progress or tracking those of the people that I was working with and mentoring. And I find this is why I love the daily Make It Happen on the High Achievers Playbook, because the philosophy of, 5-5-3, what would that be? 5 new contacts a day, making 5 new friends before you ever even post in the morning. They say everyone checks their Facebook right away. Well, you want to be able to make 5 new contacts, reach out and either like or hit that love button in the morning, because those are going to add new friends in your pipeline if you're giving out, every single day. You want to make 5 new contacts. You also want to follow up with 5 people that you've already launched and that maybe it wasn't the right time for them, but this is the daily method of operation, is that you want to follow up with 5 people that maybe haven't made a decision and now the time could be correct with them. So I like that every day, if you're mentoring somebody or you're personally doing this, you want to write down who it is you've contacted. You want to write down what you're doing in business that day. Are you having a launch event? Are you having a conference call, and who's getting on that? And then after the conference call, you're going to write down who you actually had on that conference call, and and if you had personal stuff that you were doing that day as well. And I love this section of how many people did I follow up with? How many calls did I make? Why is it crucial in network marketing? Because so often people sell themselves on the idea that they were busy all day and that they contacted all these people. But this High Achievers Playbook is awesome because you can truly write down everyone that you've contacted. If you're in a message thread with them, you don't have to write down everyone, but you want to hear that voice in the message. Facebook Messenger has that beautiful button you can hit and hit record so people can hear your voice, hear your enthusiasm on your product or service, not just texting or sending that out. It's so much more personal to hear the voice, or even on your phone. You can hit the voice record and then write those people down that you've contacted so that you're able to follow back up with them. It asks you the question of, how many minutes did I spend on personal development that day? Why is that so important? Even putting that, positive words over your brain every single night before you go to bed. I listen to a podcast because it's so important. Everyone gets beat up all day. People say no, people aren't ready to get started. But if you have positivity going through your brain every single night or morning, whatever time works best, fit it in. 10 minutes, there's no reason. Everything's free now. It's not even expensive to have personal development. So have that every single day. And then, that three, if you could really focus on 3 people that you actually invite that saw your, presentation every single day, that's the magic formula 5 days a week, right? You can take Saturday and Sunday off, or the other 2 days, whatever you choose. But if you have 3 people that actually saw your plan every single day, 5 days a week, that's a full-time income for you. That's a 6-figure income annually that you can do. So again, I mentioned 5-5-3. 5 new friends a day that you are making, 5 people that you are following up with that maybe you hadn't had a chance to get a decision made, and then again 3 people that you want to make sure you show your plan to, and then track this. And the beautiful thing about working with people and mentoring them is if they have a playbook with you, you can just look at their playbook, say, show me your playbook, and you can see, so that there's no like judgment, there's just facts, right? So that they know how to get better every single week. Just set a time where you can absolutely help mentor them into contacting more people. Otherwise, they start taking it personally that people said no. The reality is you're gonna have to go through some duds to get to some studs. It's just part of the deal. So that's one of the things I think every 6-figure or above earner has to have a daily method of operation, and the playbook makes it easy because you can track your success and track success for those that you're working with.